Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kelly Wiekert and I'll be your instructor this term. In this short video, I'm going to go over some of the design features integrated into this course that will help you be successful not only in this term, but throughout your entire career and professional lives. Let's get started, shall we? Greetings and welcome to the class. Once again, I'm Dr. Kelly Wiekert and I'm your instructor this term. This course is learning driven, which means that the primary aims and objectives revolve around students' individual learning gains. As such, there are two key components driving this path to lifelong learning: Universal Design for Learning, known as UDL, and collaborative learning, which involves you, me, and all y'all. Universal Design for Learning, UDL, is a learning and teaching framework with the goal of making curricula and learning materials accessible and optimized for all types of learners. UDL is based on universal design principles in architecture. This picture of an apartment building is a great example of universal design in architecture. Both options for approach, the stairs with the brightly colored handrails on the left and the concrete ramp on the right, offer the same affordances for users. Neither option requires an inconvenience or any form of additional accommodation based on user's preference. While I can use the stairs, maybe I just don't want to, and that's okay. Neither choice is privileged or disadvantaged. They're equitable. You may have heard of learning types before, but that's not what UDL is. Rather, it's an approach to learning and curriculum design to assure that all tools are fair and equitable to all types of learners. It's a framework that recognizes that although I might typically be a visual learner, sometimes I just really want to hear my input materials rather than to see or read them. UDL embraces the diversity of learning preferences and choices to maximize opportunities for learning. At the forefront of UDL is engagement. That's why we learn. We learn when we are actively, productively, and interactively engaged in learning opportunities. The second aspect is the what of learning, or the content. In order to be engaged, we need to have content and information available in ways that work for us. From a teaching perspective, that means presenting the same content in a variety of modes and formats. If you haven't noticed yet, this video has audio as well as text. By clicking on the closed caption option in the lower right-hand corner of the YouTube video, you can read exactly what I'm saying. There's also a written transcript available since videos aren't really good for skimming and scanning for specific details. The final aspect of UDL is the how of learning, and that's through action and expression. This means having options in the ways in which we demonstrate that learning has occurred. We all have unique strengths and weaknesses, and like my earlier example about learning preferences, these strengths and weaknesses aren't constants that define us. Rather, they're changing all the time. Some days I might like to call my friends. Other days I'd rather meet up for a coffee, and other days I just prefer we text back and forth all day long. These three types of action and expression all achieve the same goals. However, my motivation towards level of engagement might vary on which friend, on the topic, or just my mood for that day. And that's all just great and natural. Recognizing this, several design features are included in the course. As I mentioned, there are multiple means of representation of content. There's audio, video, moving text, and static text. The print materials for the course, as well as the course textbooks, are in formats that allow these multiple modalities as well. You are encouraged to use the audio read aloud features in the ebooks, as well as audiobooks and podcasts. Even our learning space, Blackboard, is able to be customized with regard to font and layout so that you can make it most comfortable for your own learning preferences. Finally, the materials are maximized to take advantage of the many accessibility features in mobile devices like phones and tablets. I highly recommend that you use the mobile app version of Blackboard because it's absolutely life-changing. And speaking of Blackboard, here it is. This is our classroom, if you will. This is the digital space where all of our interactive participation, engagement, and multimodal content will be shared. As you can see, I've got a lot going on in my Blackboard screen. So to cut down on some of the distracting clutter, I handle it pretty much like my closets at home. I put stuff that I need right up near the door and shove the rest way in the back. This course is set up to be learning driven, and Universal Design for Learning is pretty much my part of that agreement. So what's your part? Learning about learning, also known as meta-learning, involves taking stock in your own approaches to learning. What does learning mean? Why do I want to learn stuff? What kinds of stuff do I want to learn and why? Engaging in this process involves reflection on past learning successes and failures, analysis of why they were successful or not, and to what degree. It involves being honest with yourself about how comfortable you are with learning and in which situations you learn best. I know that I'm a morning person. Much as I have tried not to be, I'm pretty much done after 6 p.m. My brain just says, yeah, out. I also know that my cognitive peak is about 6 a.m. after precisely 2 cups of beautifully brewed coffee. I know that I have a big dip in attention at about 10 a.m. I hate working at a desk, and I'm most productive on the couch in my jammies with some sort of noise. Studying in a quiet library is dang near a form of torture for me. Don't get me wrong, I love libraries. I love getting materials from them, but then enjoying them at home on my couch in my jammies. Having taken account of your learning situation, then and only then can you embark on the most important key to success in online learning: time management. Key to your success will be the way you choose to manage your time in this course and your life. Knowing your learning preferences and styles will help you make good choices about how to manage your study time. There should be levels of consideration when planning your time. First, at the term level, take a bird's eye overview to see courses in relation to each other. Take all of the syllabi and course outlines and map the due dates on your calendar. Start in week 8 of each course and work backwards. Start with final exams and work backwards to week 1. This changed perspective helps you to visually experience how the assignments are related to each other and which weeks of the term are going to be the busiest and which will be lighter. That brings us to number 2, the monthly schedule of life. Here's where you need to start making priority choices. If Sunday football is really important and your papers are due on Sundays, something's got to give. Which will it be and why? If you have regular doctors, stylists, trainers appointments, how will those fit into work and school schedules? What takes priority and why? Next, you take it to the weekly level, in which you look at the AIEs and see the learning tasks, not the homework, that are required for each class each week. When will you do the reading? When do you need to have the first discussion post submitted? Can you watch instructional videos on your lunch break on your phone? Or is that something that has to be done only after the kids are in bed? Considering and planning these details is the key to assuring that you are giving yourself enough time to be fully engaged in your learning processes. Finally, there should be a daily routine for how you navigate through Blackboard each and every time you log in. This is a screenshot of my weekly calendar in Google Calendar. Since I live in a time zone other than Central Standard Time, I have both of them listed. That way I'm never late for a Texas timed meeting. My calendar is color-coded. Purple's my favorite color, so that's the stuff that I like to do, and that's important in maintaining my life balance. And yes, it really does say NCIS and Big Bang Theory, my two favorite TV shows, and they're not available on Hulu, so that time becomes sacred to me. I've blocked out walking the dog and eating meals because these are things that are important to me and are thus a priority. In red, I have anything in which I am meeting others. This is the warning that if I miss it, I'm not holding up my bargain of the collaborative deal. I know that I'm a morning person and my best thinking happens at 6 a.m. after 2 perfectly brewed cups of coffee, so that's my time for writing. I know that my brain lulls mid-morning, so I use that time for doing work like curriculum design or data analysis. These are things I enjoy doing and use short bursts of mental capacity rather than the long sustained periods of thinking, like writing. Not really a fan of writing, in case you didn't catch that yet. In the afternoon, when I know that my brain is pretty much in a downward slide, I do my reading. I love reading. In fact, it's the favorite part of my job, so I save that for a time when my attention and patience are lowest. It's a reward for doing all my other stuff and now getting to do the most motivating part of my job. You'll notice that there are some free white spaces on my calendar. That doesn't mean that I necessarily have free time there. It just means that I am free to do what I want of my work tasks during that time. I've blocked out how much time I need to do as a bare minimum to keep to each day to keep my tasks completed. But those white spaces then are opportunities for doing stuff better and or redoing stuff that wasn't up to standard the first time. Just like your morning routine to get out of the house, you should have a regular, systematic way for navigating Blackboard each time you visit each class. If you do this routine the same for all of your classes, it will become a habit and you won't ever miss any important details. For me as a student, I always wanted to know if any of my work had been assessed, so first stop was my grades. I couldn't implement any feedback from my instructor if I hadn't looked at it. So that was kind of a no-brainer for me. Next, I went to the announcements to make sure I didn't miss any urgent changes for the week. From there, it was the weekly lessons to see if any new learning materials had been added because I would need to use those materials in my assignments and discussion postings. Finally, I checked to see what all was new in the discussions since my last visit. Blackboard makes this super easy because it makes anything new there in bold, and it tells me how many unread postings I have waiting for me. Just like getting ready in the morning, after doing this routine for a week, it was so natural that I wouldn't even think about it, and I never missed info. Another key to success is knowing your own learning speeds. The types of reading for this class are different than from other classes. In many courses, reading means just skimming and scanning to extract basic information. In this course, you will need to be reading actively and critically to engage with the texts. You'll be entering a conversation with the authors as well as your classmates, so it will be necessary to invest adequate time in questioning and thinking about the various texts. This is something that only you can know about yourself, though. For more learning tips on some of the various items that I've just mentioned in this previous section, visit the UIW EAP website. We've covered me and you, so now let's move on to the all y'all aspect of the collaborative learning. This is not a correspondence course. And hopefully, you can tell by now that I'm a real human being and not some sort of robo-prof. Rather, I'm a member of the learning team that also involves peer-to-peer learning in a facilitative, interactive, and constructive environment. Learning is about making choices. In this video, I've shared a bit about my process in making, analyzing, and often remaking choices. I look forward to supporting you in your own journey to learn all about critical reading, writing, and thinking. See y'all in class!